How you doing, people? You just caught me reminiscing. Got the old books out, look all the old cars in from back in the day. Loads of them, loads of them. Happy days they were. So it got me thinking, basically, to do this number 6 for YouTube on my channel. Again, sons ain't here, people. I'm on the same seat, I'm on the same background. I know it's getting a bit boring now and monotonous, but I am trying. But the guy's not here, there's no banter, there's no woohoo, there's no road tests. It's 4 inches of snow outside tonight, so it ain't good. So anyway, with that in mind, it's all about modding. Should EVs be modded? Now, back in the day, let's put it back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, even 40 years ago, showing my age. 40 years ago, modding on vehicles did exist. I'm not talking about the full chassis build hot rods here. I'm not going to crack at them at all. Great things, very personal things. I'm talking about the very bad and the very dangerous mods that people like myself used to put on cars. I didn't do a great deal of modding, but I did do some. That some was subtle, but I did do some. And looking back, it makes you wonder how legal it was sometimes as well regarding these mods. Purely because some of them were downright dangerous. You have to think why we did it as well. What was the point? Why would you buy a car at, 20 years ago at wow, what was I paying for cars then? 500 quid at the most. Why would you buy a car at 500 quid and then spend another £1,000 on it for it to owe you 1,500 quid? But be that personal, you can't sell the damn thing because no one likes your personal bit that you put in. So, thinking about this, I thought myself, well, how would I go on about modding an EV? Do you want to mod EVs? Are they that good they don't need modding? The modding I did back in the day, and like I say, I'm just looking through these albums now, and some of these pictures are bringing back great memories of my many ICE vehicles. Some of them I did mod, some I didn't. That there, for example, the Mustang from Duval Ford in the US, 88 GT, never did a damn thing to it. Imported it from the US, very rare at the time when I got that in England. The only thing that could touch that near was a Cosworth, 5-speed manual, real driver's vehicle, sounded nice, didn't even change the exhaust, did nothing to it whatsoever, did no mods whatsoever, didn't even change the wheels, anything, it didn't add to it. And I loved it, and that was good enough for me because one, it stood out as it did anyway. It didn't need anything else on the vehicle to stand out, and I think that was a big thing back then. I think the idea of modding was to get your car noticed and to get attention. When you got that thing there, 5-litre GT Mustang back in, when did I have it, 1991, you didn't need to mod it. It stuck in your face anyway. Going down the road, people would stop and stare at it because they'd never seen one before. So you didn't need to mod the majority of American cars I had because they were already in your face, doing the thing. The other thing that obviously people did mod for, including myself, was the speed aspect of it. The speed, we all thought it was added to by putting a bigger exhaust on it and an intake manifold and an intake air system and blah blah blah. Wow. Unless you're spending big money, people, on a proper spec tuned exhaust for the particular car, then it was a waste of time. The guys back in the day put in big 6-inch, 8-inch exhausts just right at the end, just one box at the end, making it awfully loud and sounding rubbish. Thought they were putting like 30 brake horsepower on their 1.4, you know, Renault Clio or Vauxhall Nova. Please. You're lucky, in fact, you might even took brake horsepower off it rather than added it. Intake systems, again, the smaller the engine, the more you've got to really tune and mod. So a lot of it was a waste of money, a waste of time, and when you consider it, illegal. They made them far too noisy. I know that things are tightened up on MOTs now, thank goodness, whereas back in the day they weren't. I mean, you got through an MOT with a quite loud exhaust and whatever, or you knew somebody who, you know, was quite happy to give you the nod on oh well, make sure you change that exhaust when it left here. But anyway, going back to where I was, on American stuff you didn't need to mod. Although there is a lot of American modded cars in the US, obviously, because they're very common things. They're like, you know, like I've just said before, they're like Vauxhall Astras across here, Mustangs, Camaros, whatever. So modding will always exist in the US and always exist here. There'll always get some chav modding going on. But me and modding, I did some colour changes on cars, if that's what you call modifications. I did some internal changes. I used to take the seats out. You know, if you've got a car with boring grey velour seats, but at the scrapper you could go and get yourself a car with the leather in it. You think, whoa, okay, how much you want for it, mate? Oh, give me 25 quid for the whole lot. Boom, boom, boom. Afternoon down the scrapper, leather out, bring it back home, stick it in your vehicle. You've got leather option. So if you class that as modding, then yeah, I did a bit of that. I even put a sunroof in a car once. Cut the roof and put a sunroof in, because that was the biggest thing in the mid 80s and pre that as well in the mid 70s. The in thing was to put a sunroof in your car. Don't know why, but it was. Hey-ho. I'm glad things have changed. I wouldn't do it now. I'd buy a car with a sunroof. I wouldn't bother chopping the roof out. But yeah, we did back then. Exhausts, I don't think I ever changed one on a vehicle until I got into the performance side of American cars. And then you did buy a performance exhaust for it, and it was a dual system, you decatted it, blah 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 blah, and so that did create brake horsepower, but maybe cross that bridge later on when we in this convo. Talking about scrappers and being down there and modding, I can remember the in thing, little things, silly little things, like when I had Fords, like Ford Granadas and Consoles and Ford Capris. I can remember that the thing when you lock your doors, the little latch that pops down in the door panel on the side. Ford used to make them look like golf tees, and it was so easy to get your wire in there and pull them up so you could get into people's cars. Crazy times. Why had Ford ever made them with a shape at the top, so the wire went round it and just pulled it up? You got in people's cars. But the in thing was to go down the scrapper and look for chrome ones, which were an option on the gears and stuff like that. And if you had the plain black ones, you went down the scrapper, screwed them off, banged them in your pocket and walked out, and you've gone back home and you put the chrome ones in, and whoa, you had chrome door latch knob jobbies, whatever you want to call them, upper and downers. But yeah, that's how it was. Even that was modding to a point. The problem is, as time went on, and I stuck with the Yankee cars, a lot of my mates, or younger than me, started to get into what I call chav modding. Chav modding was a completely different kettle of fish. It moved from subtle modding, or just changing interiors, to the, like I've said before, the big bore exhausts, the stupid spoilers on the back of certain cars. What was that all about? But no, I don't think I'll EV mod, purely because they don't need it. You buy your electric car to what power you want, if you can afford it, if the budget can go to it. You know, if you want the best and the quickest and the fastest, well, the quickest and the fastest, not saying the best, you go out and buy a Tesla top spec, 100 model, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. Amazing. And they're going to get quicker and quicker. So there's no need to mod them for extra brake horsepower. It's already there. Music systems in them, wow, they're great. You get Bose systems in the Technoleaf. That's been in there for years now. You can get the K&H, the Carman Harden system in the BMW, B&O, Bang & Olufsen in the latest Mach-E Mustang. Again, EV, electric orientated. So no need to mess about with music systems and sound systems like we do, or like we did, because that was the in thing back in the day. Your sound system was always changing in your car. You took your horrible boring one out and you banged a screen on him. So yeah, paint jobs, well, people might want to change it. They might want to wrap it. But I hate all this wrapping anyway. I think it's a waste of time, and again, getting very, very chavvy. So all you rappers out there, and I don't mean the hip-hop singers, I'm on about the people who rap cars. I think it's going to die pretty soon. I can't see it lasting. I think it's a fad. Hopefully it is a fad. But hey ho, we'll wait and see on that one. But it is a mod. It's still modifying your car. Now in Belgium, for example, you can't modify it. I don't think it's Belgium. Correct me if I'm wrong. Put a comment underneath. I don't believe you can even change wheels and tyres on cars. I think they have to be stock. Don't quote me, but I think I'm right. So yeah, modding's coming to an end, I think it's going to change. There is a thing called modding that is out there, but it's not the modding that we have spoken about so far. What I see with EV modding going forward is taking a classic car, be it a fastback Mustang, be it an MG, be it a Beetle, being whatever takes your fancy, and it being EV converted. Engine out, gearbox out, upgraded suspension, drop your battery pack in, some nice motors either side, maybe all-wheel drive, get 4 motors in it. The more you want, the more it's going to cost. You've got that classic shape still, which is still going to be out on the street there looking lovely and great if you like the nostalgia side of motoring, but you'll have full EV, you'll have full electric, with a great battery pack, a lot cheaper to run. You'll have no emissions out the exhaust. It'll probably handle better because you'll upgrade the suspension, but the cost factor of doing that at the moment is bloody expensive. I hear there's an MG that's just been done. I believe the cost was 90,000, and it was a full up restoration, don't get me wrong, but completely changed. It's mega quick, it handles superb, the build quality is better because everything's been redone, the suspension and the brakes have been set up great, and it is a very modern car with a lovely classic MG shape, if that's what you're into. So I see that being the future of EV modding. I don't see it as a personal thing, because I think the personal side of it will be too expensive for quite a while, until some specialist garages are set up who can help you and assist you in what you're doing with your mods by changing motors, changing battery packs and everything else. You'll still be able to do paint and whatever, but I think that's the way forward. Old classic cars, and then just modding them into EV-ness. There's a few already done out there. You can chomp around YouTube and look for them. There's a Mustang that is like 2.6 seconds, spent a fortune on it, cost them an arm and a leg. Beautiful looking thing. I think it's just based on the 67, 68 fastback. Again, you just are a lot of money to do. But I think that's the future of EV modding. I'm going to wrap this now. I don't see it as a bad thing. I don't see it as, you're taking our hobby away. I really don't, because like I say, I think there may come a time when people get that good at it, you won't need the garage specialist, but it's the software at the moment that you need all the gizmos to put the software right in any computer-based electric car. So that's the biggest problem, the software issues maybe. Anyone can bolt up something or take something off and put something on, but it's the software. So wrapping up, if you're going to mod happy. I'm not going to bother. I don't see it as a wanted thing on a personal level. But hey, we're all different. So if you've got any comments to make about EV modding, put it down below. Give me a big thumbs and a like. Press that button and subscribe, and I promise that things will get more out of this room and out there with one or two of my sons. We'll be on, you know, everything, but till the weather picks up and this COVID gets gone, you're going to be putting up with me. So keep safe, people. Like I say, remember to have the jab if you want it. Like I've said before, happy days.